What's up, everyone? Welcome back. In this video, we are working on the new project car. This is going to be the Project Drift Missile Poop Stang. So this is what we got. So this is the new car to the channel. It is a 97 SN95 with a 4.6 and a T5. There is quite a bit wrong with it. So we got this car for extremely cheap, manual V8 rear wheel drive that needs a ton of work. So I figured it'd be fun to make a YouTube video, TikToks, and just document working on the video while we get it ready to go drifting. The whole plan for this car is to drift. So we're not looking for a street car, we're not looking for a show car, we're looking for a car that we can turn laps in. And not necessarily the best laps, just something that we can get used to, get into drifting, and then we could slowly build a different car or maybe build this one up, but there's a lot wrong. So let's get into what is wrong with this car. The first thing we have with this car is that this was an original V6 car, so this engine was swapped. And whoever swapped this engine should not do that. There is terrible wiring all throughout the car. So our first step that we have to do is definitely fix all the wiring because it is quite the hazard, as you guys can see. So step one is 100% is fix the wiring. And then when also making a list, we went over and did everything that we could think that needs to be done, and we kind of did it in order that we think would be best. So this is the SN95 Drift Missiles list. So we first want to start with the coolant temp. The reasoning is the dash does not work right now, and they aftermarketed a coolant temp that is just dangling in the dash. So it's kind of hard to do anything when we don't know if the car is overheating. Second, it has a aluminum radiator with some aftermarket electric fans, which is actually really nice for our drift car. Keeps the temps cooler, and we have control over the fan when we want it at idle or not, just to cool things down. Then we want to get the dash working. Not necessarily needed, but we would like to know RPM, speed, fuel, stuff like that. Battery grounds, because there's this grounds to the battery and grounds all over the place. That's terrible. Plug wires. As you guys can see, whoever did this was definitely Italian and loved a mess of just goop all over the place. So we're definitely going to fix that spaghetti. Then we have alternator wires, just because they're not done very good. We want to make sure that the battery is charging properly, because we're going to have a hard time testing stuff if that's not working. Headlights, brake lights, because they're extremely dim. Then we're going to move over to mechanical once we know this thing is not going to catch on fire and everything works. Injectors, manifold, catch cam. We're going to do that all in one go. Coilover and ride height. So this thing has some sort of coilovers on it. I have no idea what brand. But as you can see, they have the camber plates vertical versus horizontal. So they are not camber plates right now. So we're going to do that and fix the ride height. The reason I say the fix ride height, the front is okay, and the front is a monster truck. So we need to fix that. This thing definitely leaks. We smell fuel, we see oil, we probably have a coolant leak. Got to fix that. Once these are done and the car is in running condition where we know it's not leaking anything, then we can work into removing AC. We don't need AC, get it out of the way. Then we can worry about interior. It has a full interior, but we're going to strip it all for the most part. Get as light as possible, because as you know, the lighter the car, the easier it is to drift, plus this thing's just gross inside. Get rid of all that. While we're tearing everything apart, we're going to take the stock seats out, put new seats in. This thing is a piece of poop when it comes to bodywork. Someone spray painted it primer gray. The car was originally a white car that has a blue hood and has, kind of hard to see, but black doors, and it's primer gray, and the trunk is from a red car. So this thing has been all messed up. Not that I really care if it looks ugly, but the fenders rub, they don't clear very well. We just want to make it look better. And then the last thing we got, once everything is done, we'll get in alignment, and then we'll see if the radio works, and then we'll go get some seat time. So that's where we're at right now. So we're going to start on the list where we're going to start with the coolant temp, and I'll get on over and show you what's going on there. So this is why we wanted to start with the coolant gauge, because it's just hanging here.
Yeah, so this mechanical gauge is reading temp right now. Those wires are just for just for the light on it.
So as you can see, the gauge doesn't really read accurate at all. So it's reading 160 when the engine has not ran in over 2 hours. So
it's still warm, so it's somewhat.
So we don't know if we're going to use this gauge or get a new one. But step one is to get it at least mounted up higher so we can get it out from underneath the dash. So we'll catch up when we got that all ripped apart. They have grounded and used power wires and just stuck it to this metal bracket underneath the dash. That's just not going to fly. Like I said, this was a swap car, so whoever did this should not be touching cars or doing wiring. But we're here to fix it. So tearing apart the gauge, we found an immaculate ground wire.
Yeah, they done fuckulated this good. They had this shit taped right here for the ground, and whatever. This is the power wire and goes wherever the fuck this goes, somewhere inside there.
Tapped inside the dash, so we're gonna have to pull that.
It might still be live too.
There is a random wire that's probably live, so this is what they did for the coolant gauge. So we're gonna rip this all out and get it redone up.
It can have.
All right, so we took the dash area out and found where they ran it. They ran it to the wire inside of here, probably for ignition for the radio. So at least we know it was to ignition only, but we are going to remove this and do a much better job for getting power to that sensor. So we are finally taking apart all of the, what was the radio harness that has been 100% butchered beyond repair. So this is where we're at. So we're taking all this apart to make sure it's safe and not leave exposed wires and wires that should not be together, so you don't have to worry about that anymore. All right, so it is the second night. We went and got some brake clean, another oil pan to clean it up. I'll show you why we're doing that once I get underneath the car. But we wanted to take a look at the cooling system because this hose was rock hard. And we wanted to see what's going on. And then I thought, oh, let's just make sure there's coolant in it. So the cap was super pressurized, like insanely pressurized, but the car hasn't ran in over 24 hours, which is weird. Typically when it's a head gasket, it's only pressurized when running, depressurizes when it's not running. The fact that it had a shit ton of pressure was super weird. The guy that I bought it from did mention that they put a hose on it because it was leaking and it started to get hot, and because the hose was leaking, I don't think they burped it because the amount of pressure that came out. And now that this hose is soft, if you guys want to see, there's all air in there. There is no coolant in that hose at all. So I think it literally pressure locked. Once it got hot, it pushed all the air into this hose and allowed the thermostat not to work. And who knows if the thermostat's working, because obviously a thermostat not going to work if there's 50 pounds of pressure pushing on it. So now we know thermostat and bleed coolant system. So that went into our finds category, stuff that we find that we need to do. So we're definitely going to have to get a thermostat now, bleed the coolant, and do all that. Good news is we're already doing the new temperature sensor and the new gauge for that, and it's right on the housing, so it's kind of a while we're in there, and parts are relatively cheap. So we're going to do that, and then I'll show you why I bought an extra pan and a bunch of brake clean. So this is why I decided to get a bunch of brake clean. There's obviously this car's been leaking for a very long time, so I need to clean everything off and see where the leak is coming from. I'm going to spray it with some engine degreaser first, let that sit on there, and then brake clean it off. So this is the before, and we'll show you how much we get off after. All right, we went ahead and brake cleaned a lot. It's still wet, but there is a lot that came off, which is good. I'm gonna let it dry overnight, and I'll get in here with some rags and wipe everything up. But at least we have somewhat of a cleanish surface to work on. I did the trans as well, so everything is somewhat clean. Again, I'll have to get under here with the rag. So that is going to be the end of episode 1, where we went ahead and showed you the car, showed you what we started on, what we found, and what we're doing. So once parts arrive, we'll start part 2. I appreciate you guys. Please comment, like, subscribe, watch all the way through, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.